takes guts, especially when it's rough or weird. I get stuck chasing perfection, always tweaking and doubting myself. Or people will see my work and think that's all I can do. I'm learning that people can connect more with honesty than perfection, but accepting that and doing it alone takes effort too, so that it kind of fails into okay, I fall that into in between. I'm trying to take some time for myself and not others, but struggle. Um, you know what? In that sort of perspective, I know I can understand why people want to get perfection, but you guys gotta understand, game development is hard. And then people just think, oh, making a game is so easy, anybody can do it. It's not really that easy. You're gonna fail a lot in game development. I know when I first started making games, I was terrible at it. Terrible, right? It takes a long time. And some people think, oh, you have to be lucky. No, not exactly. You have to be good in coding, for one, and you have to be good in game design. I think it's easier if you're a good artist to be a good game developer, though, right? If you have something polished, you can kind of come up with something good, but you also need a good game design idea that's fun, like a good game mechanic. So there's a lot of like things you need to be good at with game development. It's more like a versatile art, I would say, because art is one thing, right? You can do art and that's easy, right? Doing 2D art, 3D art, doing low poly architecture, that's not so difficult itself, right? Even, well, actually, yeah, I would have to correct myself. Rigging, that sort of thing, it's an art itself by itself. But game development takes all that aspect of rigging, doing 3D models, doing the 2D art, the UI, right? The coding, all into one perspective, and that gets all lumped in, and you have to figure out how do you make this thing work, right? You can't be an expert at everything unless if you have a team. Now, if you have a team of experts, it might be easier, but you also have to think about how to make the game fun for the players. So you have to have a good marketing person. You have to, understand the players, that sort of thing. And that's why solo development is a really hard process. Because I'm not an expert in everything, but I'm pretty good at everything. I'm kind of like I have a jack of all trades sort of hat, where I can say I'm good at it, but I'm not the best. But I can make enough where I can say, okay, this is what people will like. Let's try it. Let's see how well I can do it. And as I continue doing it, I can perfect my art, right? And the idea is I always get player feedback, because that for me that's really important. Player feedback, and I can tell people, what do you think of my game jam? And I always tell them, be as honest. If it's crap, let me know it's crap, but kind of give me constructive criticism. What do you think I can do better? What can you do? What would you do that would be better? Or what would you change in that sort of aspect of the game? And a lot of times players do, especially if they're game developers, they'll say, hey, if you change this look of the UI, or maybe make the player like run faster, or maybe jump, it'll be a lot funner. And I said, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. And usually I kind of put in that aspect. Obviously not everything. Some people might say, oh, I want to be faster, or Sonic, something like that. Something wild. Then no, I probably won't do anything like that. That's too wild. But something that's doable and it could be understandable. It's like, yeah, you know what, you're right, sort of thing. Then yeah, for sure. All right, like maybe in my case, I learned about the volume and I can just lower the settings. That's something easy that you can do too. And you can kind of like develop yourself and learn new skills from doing that sort of aspect. Don't keep things hidden. Show it to everybody. Obviously, you're not going to get it right the first time. It's going to take a lot of times to get it perfectly. You're going to struggle many times. And you're going to fail a lot. But if you can't deal with failure, then man, I'm telling you, game development is just a difficult aspect. Failure is part of game development. I think there's one developer that he's made like 100 games, and I don't know who it was, and then just completely blatantly just failed at it. But well, actually, you know what? Angry Birds. I always forget about Angry Birds. The example, right? The studio was about to go bankrupt, and then they finally said, let's just release this stupid game idea, Angry Birds, right? I released it and everybody loved it, right? It made millions, right? Who knew, right? It's the same aspect with game development. You're gonna release a lot of bad games that you think might be cool, but people might not like it, or maybe you think, oh, it's not perfect enough. No game's really ever that perfect. You're gonna just polish. Positive vibes, there we go. Positive vibes. Just release it, see what people think, and if people like it, then perfect. If nobody likes it, well, you learn from it, right? It's part of the game, right? Failing. Failing is part of the game development process. Once you learn to fail, then you learn to become a better game developer. that's the honest truth. A lot of times you're gonna make games that you think, oh yeah, this game for sure is gonna make me a shit ton of money, right? And then you're like, oh, it made some money, or maybe it made nothing at all. Damn, what do I do now? Make another game. That's really it. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And once you get better, then obviously you can learn new tricks, faster way of making games, and obviously changing your mind aspect, how to make different things, and learning the skills really. Coding, right? Art, Blender, whatever you may do. 2D skills, 3D skills, sounds, music, that sort of feature. And like I said, this process takes a long time to make. Keep it as a hobby. I would say if you're brand new to game development, you're like, oh, I'm ready to quit my job and just make games. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would suggest definitely get into the hobby first and then fine tune your craft once you become a specialist. And then I think you're set. Yep, I think that's really the best way of putting it. But yeah, don't worry about being a perfectionist. Learn to fail first. And then once you learn to fail, then you'll able to overcome many obstacles, and you'll be able to see yourself become a better game developer. Alright, the same with me. Been doing it for years. Still can't make a really good game. It doesn't sell well, but hey, I make popular games. I made a lot of money from donations. I made a lot of money from streaming. I made a lot of money from doing other things. So, yeah. Hey, just continue and see what works. Yeah. It's obviously not thinking positive, but thinking, as you can fine-tune yourself, upgrade yourself. Right? Now, that's really the best way of thinking about it. Yep, that's my thought on it. I've been trying to use Unity in the past, and I can't say 100% what makes me stop using it. Whenever it was a flow or C#, something else. But when I tried Godot, the flow of doing things made sense to me. Perfect. Like, I create a scene, here's another there, and put them together, and that's probably it. Probably just my brain playing tricks on me. You know what? You gotta do whatever is easiest for you. Learn to fail. That's actually very good advice. It is very good advice. And it's advice I learned a lot from a young age, right? When I was in school, I learned to fail a lot. And who knew learning to fail would land me a good job and good success, right? And that's why I am still streaming. After so many years, I'm still streaming like crazy. So yeah, learn to fail. Learn to be a good failure. And yeah, I think you'll become over something. Like for me, I can say Unity is much comfortable for me because I come from a coding background. So I do better when it comes to coding. If it's more code structure, I like that better. I like Unreal, but I don't like the flowchart too either. The visual crafting that they do. I would much love to do C++, easier that way. I originally tried with Unreal, but I didn't connect well. But with Unity, easier connection. Like I said, it doesn't have to be any game engine. You can choose whatever you feel comfortable with. Godot is a good game engine. Don't get me wrong. It's not It's not like people think, oh, it's a newbie game engine. No, it's really good. I think it'll get there. It'll get to the point where it becomes really useful. And then there's already people making games from it. There's a lot of people making commercial games that are making a lot of money from it.